Hi, thanks for joining us for another edition of Money TV. I'm Donald Baillargeon. So glad you could be with us. We like to say that Money TV is the program all about money and what makes it happen. And well, what's happening right now, well, it kind of reminds me of something Ronald Reagan once said. Governments don't tax for the money they need. Rather, they find need for the money they get. Well, never were truer words spoken, and Mr. Reagan reiterated that quote in a speech he recorded about 50 years ago that right now is becoming a sensation on YouTube. 50 years ago, the subject of socialized medicine was a hot topic, just like today, only today they call it healthcare reform. 50 years ago, certain elected officials in Congress were preying upon the guilt of Americans, saying that socialized medicine was absolutely necessary to prevent people from being denied the health care they need, just like today. Only today they call it healthcare reform. 50 years ago, the idea of socialized medicine was floated again after being soundly beaten down by Americans during the Truman administration a few years earlier, just like today. Only today they call it healthcare reform, which was beaten down by Americans a few years ago during the Clinton administration. 50 years ago, people were concerned that socialized medicine might take away their freedom to choose their own doctor, just like today. Only today they call it healthcare reform. 50 years ago, doctors were concerned that socialized medicine might infringe upon their ability to practice in the city or region of their choice, or perhaps interrupt their income. Just like today, only today they call it healthcare reform. 50 years ago, the memory of the Great Depression and the pain of war were very much on the minds of Americans when socialized medicine was proposed. Just like today, only today they call it an economic downturn and healthcare reform. Governments don't tax for the money they need. They find need for the money they get. Just a few weeks after being told by the voters of Massachusetts, the bluest of all the blue states, that spending $1 trillion for health care reform is not what the people want, President Obama nonetheless trotted out his nearly $1 trillion version of health care reform. Hello, Earth to Washington. Please acknowledge that you can hear us. Keep this in mind, a toll-free number from anywhere in the world you're watching this program, 888-259-4449. That's the toll-free number to call to get free information in the mail by the companies we'll be talking to and about during the next 30 minutes. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. Again, 888-259-4449. You can visit us at MoneyTV.net, and we'd love to have you follow us on Facebook and Twitter.